Yo, what is up, Canes fans? It is the Beast, Brian London. Welcome back to the channel. This is just kind of a placeholder post-game rant. Please do me a favor. If you have not subscribed to the Real Ones Canes podcast, do me a favor and do that. You can find it wherever you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, all of the podcast places. Look for the Real Ones Canes podcast. It's also distributed by the Believe Network, so go to Believe, BLEAV.com, and look for the Real Ones Canes podcast. Brandon O'Doy, my co-host, and myself will be back with a longer, more in-depth breakdown of Miami's bowl loss to Rutgers in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. We'll have that for you Friday. At some point in time, so look forward to that. But in the meantime, just some early thoughts. Look, I know every season and every game is different, but I think I'm having deja vu all over again. Miami losing in bowl games has just become part of the program, part of the DNA. Just going to lose bowl games. Whether it's a Pinstripes Bowl or a Sun Bowl, or it's a Wisconsin, whatever it is, it's going to be Miami losing in a bowl game. They've won one bowl game in the last 1,700 years or something. No. The last bowl win was, I think it was Mark Richt's last game up in Orlando against West Virginia. I was at that one. That was it. Otherwise, it's been a bunch of losses. And it's frustrating. And again, every season is different. Every game is different. I'm not going to tell you that this bowl loss is different than, a couple of years ago in their bowl loss. What I am going to tell you, though, is it's getting pretty tiresome. It is very tiresome. Now, look, they were down a bunch of defensive players, a bunch of big-time players on defense, whether they're going pro or in the portal. Offense, the same thing. I get it. Welcome to college football. It all sucks. Rutgers had pretty much everybody. I get all of it, right? And could you have used a Brashard Smith who was absent for some reason that we don't know? I've heard everything from portal to violation of team policy to abducted by aliens. I have no idea why Brashard Smith wasn't there. Would you have been better if Mark Fletcher hadn't gotten hurt? Maybe. Certainly you would have been better had you had a couple of those guys on defense, right? But the bottom line is, it's the old argument, X's and O's, Jimmy's and Joe's, right? Is it the coaching and the game plan and the time management, or is it the players? And it's both. But the bottom line is, I thought Miami's tackling was not good. Monangai is a good running back, over 1,000 yards. Although pretty much the good teams stopped him, the bad teams didn't. The one exception was Ohio State. Ohio State let him get, it was over 150 yards, I think. But all the other good teams in the Big Ten, Iowa's, Penn State's, Michigan's, shut him down. The bad teams didn't. Miami's not good, evidently, because they could not stop him at all. And he was their entire offense. So if you couldn't stop the run, you weren't going to win this game. And the penalties, holy hell, Jacoby George, what are you doing? Just what are you doing, dude? You something wrong there. You kind of want to bring your talent back, but in certain cases, I don't know. If I'm Mario, I'd think long and hard about having that kid back, because holy hell. And Bobby Washington Jr., another one. I cannot deal with dumb penalties. And whether that's coaching or not coaching, I don't know. We can have that argument. I will say this, again, some of the play calling, I don't know what we're doing in the second half, and also time management. And why do you end the game and have 2 timeouts left? What are you waiting for? You're going to use a couple of timeouts in the post-game press conference? It's just, some of this stuff it's just getting tired and old. And it's not new. It's not like it's a new thing. It's a trend at this point. I would say that, and I'll talk with Brandon about this, but if there's one thing that Mario needs to do this offseason, aside from players, it is look long and hard about having someone in his ear that can tell him, hey, coach, take a timeout here or do X, Y, like how to manage the clock is a big part of college football and NFL football at all levels. You need to know how to do it. Mario cannot do it, and it's unacceptable. If you want to say this entire game changed in a block punt, you can. It did, but I don't think you did. You didn't do a lot to dig yourself out of that hole until it was too late, which is the problem. I do want to give huge props to Jakari Brown. That kid, didn't play all year for whatever reason. I don't know what was going on there. And suddenly it's like, hey, we need you to step up because you're it, right? You're the only guy. And I thought he played pretty well. Yeah, sure, he threw an interception. Okay, threw one interception. But he got the ball in the end zone with his arm. He got the ball in the end zone with his legs. I thought he played pretty smart after the interception. He did take a sack that I think was bad. There was a couple of plays, but you know what? He played well. He played good enough. He played good enough to win. Jakari Brown played good enough to win today. Props to X for getting over 1,000 yards receiving and also over 80 catches, setting the school record. Isaiah Horton with a good game. Again, we evidently don't have tight ends. And Jacoby George, I don't know what's happening there. I don't get the brain meltdowns. Just frustrating. Really just frustrating. I mean, does it really matter? Not really. This game doesn't have a huge impact on anything. But you just would like to go into the offseason with a win. Right? Just like go into the offseason with a nice win. I hate the fact that Rutgers gets their first win over Miami, that Greg Schiano gets a win over a school where he was the defensive coordinator. All of that stuff, it just bothers me. But that's a personal thing. So we will take the night and marinate, and we'll come back tomorrow with the full-length Real Ones Canes podcast. I think, Brandon's been putting his ear to the streets on recruiting and portal and all that stuff, so we should have some news for you then. And also just take a longer look and a breakdown of this game and the season. Miami finishes 7-6. Better than last year? Yes. Good enough? Nope. Not at all. All right, everyone. Remember, please subscribe to the Real Ones Canes podcast. I will put the link in the description to go subscribe to the Real Ones Canes podcast. I appreciate you guys. Go Canes. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.